In a previous video, I shared some of the everyday challenges that I embrace. Cold shower each morning, going for a daily walk, whatever the weather be, adding weight to that walk. Most people call it a ruck or rucking. And wanted to just follow up with that thread and share a little bit about my own training, what people call fitness or exercise, and really how it has shifted from performance to presence. It used to be about performance. And let me just explain that so you know what I'm talking about. The workouts, the exercise, the programs, the routine, all of that structure was really focusing on the statistics. How much weight can I lift? How far can I run? How long can I run? These sort of parameters that we measure, the metrics, was the focus. And then it started shifting. I don't know exactly when. It was gradual. Let's say, I don't know, like 10 years ago maybe. Started shifting to really just the enjoyment of the movement itself and really throwing those metrics out the window. I used to track runs, the time and the distance, and use a lot of these gadgets, maybe go online and see how far I ran to see if it was a 5K run. And then when the technology was available, having a watch that had GPS that can track the run. Then it was all synced up, these apps. You can post your run and race other people, or post your cycle route and sort of make it competitive with others. And I could see where it was going, and there was something in me that wanted to just really get to the essence of the movement. And the essence of the movement is the presence. So a lot of these things that I was measuring, they just fell away. I just put them aside. I continued running, but I didn't wear the watch because I wasn't recording. There wasn't any data to upload. Nothing telling the apps that I was using how far, how long, what routes, none of that stuff. Who was I even posting it for? So there's something that was just let go of. And the sacredness of the movement started to reveal itself more and more the more I let go of all those things. It was experiences almost secretive because the training was still happening, but it transformed. I was no longer doing it to achieve milestones or set PRs to post online. I was no longer recording anything to track the data over time, to measure weight loss. All of this stuff was simply let go of. And yet, I was experiencing something profound, more profound than before. I was experiencing something deeper than I was when I was constantly looking at the watch during the run, seeing who ran this segment and trying to beat them, seeing how my runs this month compared to last month, watching the scale as the weight fluctuated. All of that achievement fell aside but there was something that was revealing itself that cannot be achieved. Something that was always here. Something that I always was. Something that I always am. And that is what I'm just giving the name presence. When I stop going for runs or walks or hikes or any of these things without the distraction, bringing a phone, listening to music or a podcast or something like that, then it was just me. It was just me, and I was just present to the footfalls, the rain on the jacket, the rustling of the leaves underneath my feet, the wind blowing through my hair, whatever the movement was. Perhaps it was canoeing, perhaps it was hiking, perhaps it was cycling. Whatever it was, I was just falling in love with that solitude of self. And just a little walk in the woods was experienced as something sacred. Something that all of those metrics could never measure. So why bother? It sort of seemed to be something that was preventing me from experiencing something deeper than those metrics. Those metrics were sort of like surface level things that I was measuring. And yet there was something deeper to experience that is immeasurable. And that's when the presence revealed itself in a way I can never imagine. And just that enjoyment, feeling the breath in the body, or walking and feeling the ground and feeling how the body is stabilizing, feeling what is weak or what is out of aligned or what is moving unnaturally, and to align it and to bring the body into a natural rhythm, a natural movement. That presence transformed the movement. Just being present to the body fully, without any distractions, without checking any metrics, without having some sort of goal in mind. You experience what you were once chasing. And at that point in the movement, it's experienced that the journey is the destination. You're no longer chasing something. It's really hard to explain, because the very thing, whatever it is, the cycling, paddling, swimming, running, whatever the thing was, it was just simply being so present to the moment. And it was transforming everything. It was transforming the movement, the body, the experience was completely transformed. So it was this shift from performance to presence. And I say that word with two different meanings to it. Performance in the sense of to perform well, to perform at your best. But performance in the sense of performing like an actor. I was no longer posting things to present myself a certain way as the runner, as the cyclist, as the one who hit the PR that week, as the one who has the record in the community. was no longer doing it for likes, approval, recognition, to be seen. And the performer always wants to be seen. Presence is invisible. One wants to be flashy. One wants the attention. The other is simply silent, waiting to be discovered, never calling for attention. And in the midst of the movement, I experience that stillness. In the midst of the noise of the rain or the hard breathing, I experience the silence. And that, what's the word here? Paradox, to experience both simultaneously, is indescribable. It's the non-duality that's lived. It doesn't just happen on a meditation cushion where you force the body to sit still, where you control the noises around you to make the room quiet. But it's to be fully present in everyday life. Of course, we're talking about training or working out or fitness or exercise here, but it wasn't limited to this aspect of my life. It just carried permeating all areas of life, whether I was cooking or driving, with my kids, at work, whatever it is. It was that same experience. What I used to feel was like very meditative, to just go for a walk and listen to nature and sort of be absorbed in our timeless nature. You come back and someone says, "Where were you? You're gone for 3 hours." Oh, really? It didn't feel like it. Where that becomes the highlight of your day, where it literally feels like time stood still. Because in the moment, when you're fully present to it, you're experiencing eternity, your eternal nature. You're experiencing your true nature, to experience so much joy, happiness, freedom, love, peace, even in the midst of carrying some heavy load on your back or grinding up a mountain on your bike or having your eyes burn with salty sweat in the heat of the summer, running. There's just something that is indescribable. It's paradoxical. Because in that midst of the movement, you're experiencing the stillness. However loud your breathing, or totally just is something that's all you hear. Is how out of breath you are. As you're running up a hill or riding up a hill or paddling into the wind, you're experiencing the silence. And that's just the shift that I was speaking of. the shift from performance to presence, and wouldn't trade it for the world. There's no amount of measuring metrics, posting stats, or anything like that that I could do that would replace the depth that is lived when I let go of it all. And it continues to transform one. It's not like a one and done. You start seeing actually how, sticking with the theme of exercise or training, how that exercise, how that training, how that movement is really holistic. That as you're training, as you're moving, you're seeing that it's revealing parts of yourself that your relationship with your husband or wife is, that your job is, your parenting with your kids is revealing, and you're seeing how interconnected everything is. You could be walking, rucking, carrying a load, and you see how it's transforming the body to carry that weight as an integrated structure, a structure that has the integrity, that has the strength, that has the capacity to balance, to support load over unstable ground, through unstable environments, without collapsing. It reveals these parts of yourself that need to be aligned and refined. There's a natural shift to more natural movement, more organic, less mechanical. You're not seeking comfort that's found in a gym. Everything built so ergonomically correct. Nice handles, nice machines, things that kind of balance themselves. But there's a shift to something that's more organic, natural. Picking up a stone, or moving a log, carrying a load for a long distance. It's this natural movement that we have been disconnected from. And when we return to that natural movement, in that transformation of presence, we see that it's transforming the body and also the way that we live. And the body starts becoming more of a natural expression of who and what you truly are. This looks crazy to most people. Most people will sort of brush it off. That looks too primal. That's ancient. We've come so far. We have technology now. But we see how these things naturally align the body in ways that our modern movements cannot. You see that very easily, and this is something, let's throw in a little invitation here, a challenge for you. Just pick up something heavy and try and move it from point A to B. And then you just simply increase that distance. Or throw in some, I don't know, books or bricks in your backpack. And then just go for a little hike. And see how that load carried over a distance doesn't require proper alignment in the body. See how you'll feel certain muscles wake up. that have been sleeping your entire life. And that natural movement awakens the natural architecture of the body, bringing it into more alignment with what is natural. It reorganizes itself around the movement, because really the movement and the body are not separate. So it's something that there's a natural correction that happens when we get back to those natural movements. And you see that the most natural movement is something that you're not measuring. It seems silly to measure it. You see that this is somehow ancient. It's tapping into something that your body knows. This wisdom that's lived, it can feel it. Perhaps from the pioneer days or early settlers or exploring, hunting and gathering. You'd hunt and then you'd have to bring back that animal. You'd gather something, whether it be berries and buckets or going down to the river and carrying, fetching water and carrying it back to camp or wherever you've settled. That requires that natural movement. They wouldn't be measuring the distance or how much each water can weighed, how much the deer or the elk weighed. It's just simply something that's so natural, part of daily living, that we've gotten away from. And then now try to correct improper posture or overweight or whatever it is with other unnatural movements, which really is all about isolation, which sees the body as parts and pieces instead of the whole. But what I'm getting at here is when you see the body as a whole, and the body as such a whole that it's not separate from your life and not separate from that which you are, then you see how integrated everything is and how harmonious everything functions. That you see that there's something deeper than even the alignment of posture. And how you walk, how you move. It's not just bones and muscles, but that same expression, that same alignment of the body is actually a reflection of something deeper, the spiritual alignment. And you start seeing how it becomes a material reflection of that spiritual alignment, that structure that can support weight, carry load, that has the capacity, that can stabilize and balance, is actually a representation of you experiencing yourself, let's just call it spiritually. And coming into that alignment, it's then expressed in and as that movement of carrying a load over long distances, or picking up a heavy object, or the natural twisting and turning of the body that we have sort of gotten away from. So you start experiencing everything much deeper. a deeper alignment, a deeper way of living, and really you're coming to experience yourself in and as the body, in and as these daily movements, and ultimately as life itself. If you're interested in making this shift from performance to presence and want to experience some of the things that I've expressed in this video, I invite you to join me in truth.